Hi everyone, Catherine here from Inky Fingered Cat, back with another 30-day Christmas card making challenge. This challenge is set up by the lovely Martin. I'll link all the details in the description box below. Today's theme is Winter Whiskers. So I'm thinking that he had pets in mind, you know, dogs, cats, etc. Especially because he's got his gorgeous Winnie. But I had a little hunt through and remembered this stamp set I'd got with the magazine, Creative Stamping magazine a couple of months ago. Not yet inked any of these stamps, and decided to make a little scene with the hair that has a rather splendid amount of whiskers. So I figured that this would work. I had many ideas. And then totally and utterly changed my plan when I went in the cupboard to go and get what I was going to get out was some shimmer paints. And I ended up getting brushos instead. So that's what I ended up doing. I have now managed to film a few videos ahead of time. So this is probably going out whilst I'm in the middle of very busy days at work because we're in the middle of an inspection. So I know they'll be on site, I think, around about the date of this. Yeah. So I'm really pleased that I've managed to at least get a few videos ahead of time at this point. And yeah, goodness knows what'll happen for the rest of the challenge. Okay, so I stamped it with Versamark. Versafine. I unfortunately smudged it, but I just decided to create a shadow with the smudge and it was fine. I had originally thought I was going to do, as I say, the metallic sort of shimmer paints, but I ended up grabbing the brush rose and thinking, oh, I could use that fabulous black to create like a Northern Lights look. And so I'd originally planned on colouring my little hair with my pro markers later, and I just kind of wanted to keep the shimmer paints off the hair, but I ended up not even going close to the actual hair, so that whole mask was completely pointless. I then created the sort of the brownie colour for the hair, using again the brushos and just using different intensities of water to give some shading, some different coloration. On the mountains, I just kind of left them a bit splattery. And then I end up pulling in sort of some blues and greens in order to make the sort of the tree line at the bottom of the mountains look a little bit greeny. I mean, to be honest, they don't look that greeny. This was me attempting at first and it was still too brown. Then I put a bit of blue in and I was like, no, that's not quite right. And eventually I found emerald green, perfect. And that just added in a bit of green. So I had masked off the edges because I really wanted kind of an arty look to this card, to look like I'd maybe drawn and painted it myself. Well, I've clearly painted it, but you know what I mean. It did bleed slightly under the tape, but it works fine. But I was conscious that I hadn't actually put paint all across the bottom part, you know, where the snow was. So I do end up going in with a pen just to give it a bit of a doodled outline. So this was quite simple in the end. 2 stamped images, a little bit of watercolour painting, but to be honest, that brushos does the job perfectly, really. I did use the edge of the acrylic block just to do the first line, but I realised I didn't really need it for the other edges and it was fine to be doodly. So yeah, really, really simple. Now, the paper I'm using wasn't a watercolour card. It was just a normal cardstock. It's, I think, a Crafter's Companion. Really good for stamping on. Takes a reasonable amount of water. But yeah, so it has warped quite badly. Oh, this was me deciding on the sentiment, and I actually suddenly thought, oh, I know what looked good, and that was those Tim Holtz sticker sentiments. I think they're really cool for these sorts of things. I did end up trimming it down quite a bit in order to sit it on this black base. And then I ended up trimming it down again, another sort of like maybe 1/4 of an inch off on each side, just because my card blank was then going to get completely covered and it didn't quite look right. I wanted kind of the multiple matte layers. I didn't want it to be just black to the edges. So I trim it down again, just a teensy little bit off each side. And then the same with the black mount. I take off about 1/4 inch just to give the card a little bit of frame of the card blank with this mounted on top. I did try to mount that straight, did get it slightly wonky, so I had to half lift it, but that was perfect. It was just a really slim frame, but it was just enough. Plenty of glue on just to stop it because it was so warped, but with the cardstock underneath and all of that tape, it worked really well. Simple card, flat. Don't know what's gone on with me. I've done quite a few flat cards recently. I hope you've enjoyed this. Please do subscribe if you want to see future videos. Give me a comment below. Do you make flat cards or ones with loads of dimension? I'd love to know. Otherwise, thanks for watching. Till next time. Bye bye.